Monday, May 18th, school board meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Couple of things to go through here. First, consent agenda. I would look for a motion to approve the minutes of the April 27th board meeting, as well as the statement of receipts and expenditures for April 2026.
So moved. Second.
First and second, any additional discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes. At our April meeting, we delayed the board committee membership assignments until this meeting. I did have a chance to speak with everyone, so this will be for the 26-27, our committee assignments. So finance, no changes. Jerry will stay as chair, Blair and Mark. Curriculum, Blair will chair curriculum with Sean and the addition of Bob. Policy will be chaired by Mark with Bob, with the addition of Terry. Marketing will be chaired by Sean, with Jerry and Terry joining marketing. And village liaison, I will stay as the chair of that with Mark. So those will be our committees moving forward for the rest of the year. Any comments, questions? Good? All right. Superintendent's report.
Yes, we're excited to look ahead to the end of the year, and GHS's graduation for the class of 2026 is held on Sunday, June 7th at 10 a.m. So congratulations to valedictorian Josie Knepp, salutatorian Alani Walls, and to the top academic students listed alphabetically: Casey Baker, Charlotte Barnett, Ian Cornelius, Isabella Goodwin, Remy Gundert, Audrey Hansen, Nicholas Kell, Audrey Kleckner, Josie Knepp, Mia McMinnis, and Alani Walls. So congratulations to all of our students, and we look forward to celebrating them on Sunday, June 7th. We have a special celebration tonight for Shireen Mortag, special education teacher at Kennedy Elementary School, and Mark Gall, special education aide at John Long Middle School, who are the recipients of the WCAS Regional Awards for their work with students, and we have someone here to present them with their awards.
Good evening. I'm Kate Harder, the Wisconsin Council of Administrators of Special Services, or WCAS, Region 1 representative, and I am pleased to join you tonight to honor two of your educators, Shireen Mortag as an outstanding special education teacher, and Mark Gall as an outstanding paraprofessional for the CISA 1 area. Annually, we ask Wisconsin school district leaders to nominate staff in their schools who they believe stand out as making a difference each day for the students, families, and communities they serve. Both Shireen and Mark were nominated for these awards by their supervisors, and I would like to share with you a little about what they had to say regarding their work and what makes each of them unique. Shireen Mortag exemplifies perseverance, compassion, and unwavering high expectations for students with disabilities. For more than 40 years in the Grafton School District, she has dedicated herself to ensuring that every student on her caseload experiences success, growth, and belonging. Mrs. Mortag is frequently entrusted with some of the most complex student cases because her colleagues know that her expertise, patience, and determination will lead to positive outcomes. Her work consistently results in documented closure of skill gaps in ELA and mathematics, reductions in problem behavior, and successful implementation of services that allow students to remain in their local school environments rather than requiring more restrictive placements. She holds herself to the same high standards she expects of her students, maintaining near-perfect IEP compliance, meticulous documentation, and a level of dependability that includes multiple years of perfect attendance. What truly sets Mrs. Mortag apart is that these outcomes are grounded in authentic relationships. She invests her own time and resources to support students, often purchasing incentives, arranging special lunches, and even spending portions of her summer meeting with future students and their families to ensure a strong start to the school year. Mrs. Mortag's leadership and advocacy extend well beyond her own classroom. She is a trusted mentor to new special education teachers and an informal guide for veteran colleagues who seek her wisdom and experience. Her instructional expertise, deep professional knowledge, and data-driven decision-making allow her to design highly differentiated instruction that challenges students while meeting their individual needs. Through consistent co-teaching within grade-level classrooms, she champions equity and inclusion, ensuring that students with disabilities access rigorous curriculum alongside their peers. Her leadership is also evident in the many ways she volunteers to support the broader district, traveling to other schools to administer specialized assessments, traveling long distances to ensure students receiving education off-site can participate in required state testing, and willingly stepping forward whenever additional support is needed. Despite these extensive contributions, Mrs. Mortag remains humble and team-focused, consistently sharing strategies, collaborating with colleagues, and contributing to a culture of excellence within the school. What truly distinguishes Shireen Mortag is the extraordinary sense of community and purpose she brings to her work. As the fourth grade student council advisor, she leads students in meaningful citizenship and service initiatives, including toy drives that provide hundreds of gifts to families in need during the holidays. Her compassion extends beyond the classroom and into the broader community, where her work at a local grocery store has helped create employment opportunities for adults with disabilities, reinforcing her commitment to inclusion and dignity for all. Families, colleagues, and administrators consistently recognize her as a trusted and positive presence, so much so that parents frequently request that their child with an IEP be placed in her classroom. Even small moments reflect her character, such as declining a new desk chair offered to staff because she felt her original chair of more than 40 years was still a beauty and simply needed some WD-40. This humility, combined with extraordinary skill, dedication, and heart, makes Shireen Mortag a truly exceptional educator and one of the CISA 1 region's most outstanding special education teachers. Okay, so I'll say a little bit about Mark Gall then, and then I'll invite them both up to get the awards. Mark Gall exemplifies perseverance, compassion, and high expectations in every aspect of his work with students and staff. He consistently monitors student progress and behavior, ensuring that students with disabilities are held to high standards while receiving the individualized support they need to succeed. Working across science and social studies classrooms, Mark has developed a deep understanding of each student's unique learning style, work habits, and personal challenges. His dedication is evident in the countless ways he supports students beyond basic responsibilities, arriving early, staying late, and even providing snacks for students who may need them to stay focused and engaged. Following a significant surgery, Mark returned to work with the same energy and commitment as before, eager to resume supporting students without missing a beat. His perseverance and genuine care for students make him a trusted, steady presence who students respect and rely upon. Mark also demonstrates exceptional leadership and advocacy, qualities that set him apart from many paraprofessionals. He actively collaborates with teachers, frequently seeking updates, asking clarifying questions, and offering thoughtful suggestions to improve student outcomes. Rather than simply following directions, Mark engages as a true instructional partner, someone who understands curriculum expectations and takes initiative to ensure students meet them. He is not afraid to respectfully challenge assumptions or raise questions if he believes doing so will benefit students. His leadership extends beyond the classroom as well. Mark played an instrumental role in developing a district-wide paraprofessional guidebook that is now used to onboard and train new staff. Through his work, he has helped strengthen the support systems that benefit students and colleagues across the district. What truly distinguishes Mark is his unwavering commitment to collaboration and community. Teachers consistently describe him as someone who anticipates needs before they arise, steps in seamlessly when challenges occur, and helps all students in a classroom, not only those on his caseload. He communicates clearly and frequently with colleagues, maintains a sense of humor during difficult moments, and creates a positive environment where both students and staff can succeed. Mark builds strong, trusting relationships with students, knowing when to challenge them to grow and when to provide encouragement and support. Mark Gall does not simply perform the duties of a paraprofessional, he elevates the role through his advocacy, professionalism, and dedication to helping every student succeed. For these reasons, Mark is truly one of a kind and an exceptional paraprofessional across the entire CISA 1 region. On behalf of WCAS and the Grafton School District, thank you, Mark and Shireen, for your dedication, perseverance, and advocacy. I am pleased to be able to present you both with this recognition and know that we are all better because of the work that you do each and every day. Thank you and congratulations.
Thanks, Kate, for taking the time to come and present that award, and congratulations to Shireen and Mark, both very dedicated individuals. We have a lot of great staff here, but they are definitely worthy of these awards, and it's great to have them be recognized, and nice to see Shireen's family supporting her, Mark's wife supporting her, and then Elizabeth also coming and supporting Mark as he works closely with her, which is also awesome. So thanks for coming, you guys. You're welcome to step out, but we appreciate all you do, so thank you.
Thank you.
I know. And continuing with the theme of some of our outstanding educators, we have congratulations to the 2026 Grafton Education Foundation Golden Apple Award winners from the Grafton Educational Foundation. They recognize Stacy Ringgold, 4K8 at Kennedy, Brandy Becker, kindergarten teacher at Kennedy, Megan Zawicki, second grade teacher at Kennedy, and Jessica Rosengren, third grade teacher at Kennedy. So the post that they put out, congratulations to those 4 people. A lot of great teachers were recognized and staff were recognized through the Educational Foundation, but these 4 were selected by their committee, so congratulations to them. Also, congratulations to Grafton High School on its repeat designation as a Project Lead the Way PLTW Distinguished School for increasing student access, engagement, and achievement in its PLTW biomedical and engineering courses. And congratulations to the following musicians who received the highest rating of 1 at the state solo and ensemble competition: Kayla Brennan, violin solo; Megan Brulette, clarinet solo; Lucy Day and Alexa Gangler, musical theater duet; Lucy Day, alto solo and musical theater solo; Lincoln Graycar, maramba solo; Bella Goodwin and Francesco Grasso, musical theater duo; Bella Goodwin, musical theater solo; Francesco Grasso, brass solo, bass solo, and musical theater solo; Francesco Grasso and Abby Rigg, musical theater duet; Elizabeth Kroll, violin solo; Mason Rigg, musical theater solo; Lizel Sheeling, alto solo; and the Black Hawk drum line of Alex Bergman, Lincoln Grykar, Ella Hagerman, Colson Maurer, Max Masery, Sam Perkarski, Zach Schumacher, Connor Ties, and Gwen Williams. And special congratulations to Bella Goodwin and Francesco Grasso, who were both nominated for an Exemplary Performer Award, and to Francesco Grasso for winning the award. So congratulations to all those students. We all probably know Francesco as Frankie, by the way. So it's sort of weird for me to keep saying his name and not calling him Frankie. But congratulations to all the students and the great work that they did at State Solo and Ensemble competition, and thanks to our teachers for helping them prepare for that and be successful. Congratulations to the Wisconsin Civics game team of Ian Cornelius, Thomas Jordan, Rook Levine, Jasper Stone, and Jackson Urbane, and advisor James Johnson on their third place finish at the state finals. The competition tested knowledge in politics, state and national history, civic participation, and local, state, and federal governments, and all 5 of those students are in our AP Gov and Politics class this year, so congratulations to them. For parent testing opt-outs, as required, we report out to the board on that. We are through with our standardized testing. We had a total of 7 that chose to opt out. We had 6 at John Long Middle School and 1 at Kennedy that opted out. Otherwise, all students were involved in our testing. And something that just came up late last week, and then we got an update this morning, is Village of Grafton roadwork on 9th Avenue. And I've asked Topher to talk to us about that.
Yeah, so just to walk you through, the village has some road work scheduled for 9th Avenue. Actually, at Cedar Creek Road and 9th Avenue, they've already begun. But as of at least the current plan, starting June 8th, they will shut down Hickory Street and 9th Avenue. for basically a week that will impact us in terms of having students at Woodview and John Long on June 8th, 9th, and 10th. Those are the last 3 days of student attendance. You can see I highlighted in orange that path that families use for pickup and drop-off. And so this will be impacted in terms of how we do those procedures. We're going to be working with principals to determine what that plan is, and then getting that information out to families so they can plan for how to deal with these road construction projects for those last days of school. Just wanted to make the board aware of it. We're aware of it, and we are planning to address it.
So it just came up late last week. It was actually, when we heard about it late last week, it was worse. It was starting earlier. So today we got good news that it's June 8th, 9th, and 10th. We will work, we have a Wednesday leadership team meeting that will work with principals to try and figure out a communication plan to parents and how we'll have our pickup and drop-off plan for the last 3 days of school. Will that impact color blast, how they park and so forth? Definitely all these things that are coming up here at the last minute that this is going to, cause us to just look at our processes, and we'll develop a plan and get that out to everyone.
Did they reach out at all in advance planning this?
They did. They met with us a couple months ago to talk about, Chris and I and Jamie met with them to talk about if there was anything that we wanted differently off of 9th Ave. So for example, right where that orange ends on 9th Ave, it's a really narrow median to turn into John Long. So we asked them, could you make that a wider median as you're developing it? Because it'd be easier to turn in and out of there. Because if someone's turning in and you're turning out, it's really tight. So they reached out, and at the time, this was going to happen later in the summer, so it wasn't impacting school at all. And I guess as they've done contracts.
Yeah, Jamie has had some direct contact, and they realized that they couldn't do it within the summer window, and that they were going to either have to start it earlier before we let out of school, or it would have to finish at the beginning of the next school year.
Yeah, that's correct. This is the first critical piece, the 9th in particular, because sanitation obviously is gravity fed, that's the lowest point. So that's the first piece that needs to happen in order for this to finish on schedule. The problem with the village at that time, it was a third party developing this. They did not have the engineer at the time, they did not have the administrator, all those pieces in place. So now the contractor came and said, well, we cannot finish on time. So I think there's a critical piece. Do we sacrifice a little at the end of this school year versus sacrificing it in this school year?
So it'll impact summer school as well, and we know that, I think it's after school gets out, we start doing the driveway for John Long, correct, as the leftover of the C.G. Schmidt's coming in to finish that piece, because we would have run out of time last year. Remember, we paused that part of the construction because we were afraid we wouldn't have gotten it done in time for school year to begin. So that will impact the front of John Long for summer school as well. So it'll roll into summer school and our communication with everyone as well with that. So just wanted the board and the community to be aware that we're aware and we're working with the village, but the timing is not ideal, but we'll work together to communicate that with families and do the best piece that we can with that. I had Kennedy's PTG reach out to me for recent happenings. They had restaurant give back night in March. Noodles and Company made a $407 donation to them. Huge thank you to the Distillery for another successful Clash of the Claws fundraising event in April. Woodview received $1,405.40 to win the Clash of the Claws. Kennedy received $1,197.05. So a total of over $2,500, almost $2,600, over $2,600 was donated by Distillery. And so thanks to everyone who supported the event by going and eating dinner there. Restaurant Give Back Night in May, the Stilt House made a $594 donation, and they just had their spring Scholastic Book Fair combined with Family Fun Night, combined with KES Student Art Show and Grafton High School Lego League experience, resulting in almost $9,300 in gross sales. And they have Slice and Shuffle School Dance and Pizza Party on Friday, May 29th, if you'd like to join. I'm sure they welcome adult supervision. If if you're busy, that's okay too, probably. Do we have any other educational funding partners that want to speak? I thought I saw some in the back. We would love to have you come up. Especially former graduates. Right? I was talking to Miss Reek.
Right.
But even better to see you.
Yes. Yes, nice to see you. So good evening. My name's Sarah Blamer, and I'm representing Grafton Scholarship Group tonight. And we just wanted to kind of share an update. So although Grafton Scholarship Group has quietly worked behind the scenes for many years, we just wanted to take a moment to share the impact of this year's efforts. The group has come a long way since its inception in 1991, when 5 scholarships totaling $2,300 were awarded. Last year, we were able to award 54 scholarships totaling $43,000 to the class of 2025, alongside other community scholarships at Grafton High School. And this year, we're proud to announce that we'll be awarding the class of 2026 67 scholarships totaling $51,000 on Wednesday, May 27th. And this is a direct result of our successful door-to-door scholarship drive, Grafton Gives. Grafton Gives had a record-breaking student involvement this year with 195 student volunteers and the highest level of donations in our program's history. And the community of Grafton demonstrated an incredible commitment to supporting our students and their futures. And we hope to build upon the success in years to come. We'd also like to sincerely thank all the school board members whose continued generosity also makes scholarships possible. And as a recent graduate myself, your generosity goes more than words. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. So that's great news. We look forward to celebrating the class of 2026 on Wednesday, May 27th. A few more updates. An update from our esports advisors, Ms. Grappeton and Mr. Pryor. Our students finished 3rd at state this weekend in Mario Kart. Eli Hansen, Matthew Wheeler, Aiden Kastner, and Kellen Eberman. They went 5-2 in the regular season, losing only to the teams that took 1st and 2nd at state. And in the playoffs, they were the 4th seed. But they played exceptionally well, being the first place seed in only 2 rounds. State competition took place at Wisconsin Lutheran College on Saturday. Though they lost the first round, they were able to secure 3rd place, again, winning in just 2 rounds. Advisors are very proud of the dedication the team has put in and their exceptional communication. Prioritization of esports and consistent teamwork led us to have a great season. They're looking forward to continue with the team next year. Also, the football team is being recognized before the Milwaukee Brewers game this Friday on the field as part of the Brewers Wisconsin High School State Champion Spotlight Series. There were over 200 tickets purchased by families for this Friday's event. And then our annual parent survey has been shared with all families, so it will remain open until Friday, June 5th. That's exactly what I have written down. I have 2 question marks. I was supposed to remind myself to look for that. Friday, June 5th. I received an email this morning that 176 parents had taken the survey, and last year we had 391 take it overall. So in our Vision 2030 KPIs, to have 500 parents take the survey. So we'd encourage all parents to take it so we can get as much information as we can about how parents feel about the direction the district's going and initiatives that we have. But we'll send out some reminder emails for that. And then last but not least, Shireen was mentioned as a mentor. My wife and I hosted our annual mentor first-year teacher party at our house on Friday. And great celebration of our mentors and the first-year teachers celebrating the end of their year together. And we're proud of the fact that out of all of our new teachers, everyone that was offered a contract for next year is coming back next year. So great. We talk about attracting high-quality talent, but also retaining high-quality talent, and our mentor program does that. So thank you to all of our mentors for doing that and helping teachers feel comfortable and welcome here in our district. But we're proud to have that occur. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Great report. It's always great to give out some recognition to our staff, so thank you very much. All right, that brings us to public comment. I did not receive any emails from the last meeting, so nothing was forwarded on for me. Is there anyone that would like to address the board tonight? Okay. Seeing none, we will go to personnel report.
Yes, personnel report. We have a couple new hires and as well as a resignation for board approval. Our first new hire is Dana Croat, principal of Woodview Elementary School, Isabel Shenahair, ELA teacher at John Long Middle School, and Erica Zemer, 5th grade teacher at John Long Middle School. For our resignation effective 6/10/2026 would be Jacqueline Miller, 5th grade teacher at John Long Middle School. I do have Dr. Croat who's here, and I've asked her to come and say a few words to the board and our community as we look at welcoming her as the new principal at Woodview. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Croat.
Good evening. It is an honor to be here in front of all of you tonight for Woodview Elementary Principal position. I will share a little bit about me personally and then professionally. Personally, I live in Germantown. My husband and I are both born and raised in the area. I grew up in Lannon and went to high school in Sussex. Graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison with a special education background. And then from there, I decided to adventure out a little bit. And I was a special ed teacher. And I lived in Connecticut, then Arizona, and then California for a bit. In California, my husband and I got reunited, and we started our family and moved to Arizona for a little bit. There, I had a daughter and a son, and when my daughter was turning 5, we decided it was time to move home and be back with a family. We are both very fortunate to have large families back here, and so we wanted to make sure that our kids were raised with our families here. So my kids are now 14 and 17. My daughter is a grad, so this is a very fun season of life to have a freshman and a senior. Super exciting. But yeah, so we're very happy to be back in Wisconsin and surrounded by the wonderful people here. Professionally, I've had a very wonderful ride. As I mentioned, I've been in multiple states, and I was a special ed teacher in Connecticut, Arizona, then California. But while I was there, I did continue my journey as a lifelong learner, and I obtained my master's degree in elementary education to get a reading endorsement because I really wanted to understand more about all students and how they learn. And with that passion for learning of myself and how to support others, I was afforded a lot of leadership opportunities while I was a special ed teacher. And from there, I had kind of seeds planted about administration. And so while I was in California, I obtained my doctorate in education and administration. And then my husband and I decided we were going to move to Arizona for a little while. I mean, at that time, we weren't sure how long, but we decided we wanted to stay in a sunny, warm state. And I was granted the opportunity to be a principal at a charter organization. I started out at one school, and then they were a growing organization, and I was offered the opportunity to open a new school in Arizona that was closer to home. So I took that on, and it was a wonderful, incredible experience. And as I mentioned, with my child about to start kindergarten, we decided to get home. So while I was here, I started in Greenfield. I was a principal for a couple of years, then had opportunity to be in the community where I lived, and I've been the principal at Rockfield Elementary in Germantown for the last 11 years. It has been a wonderful ride, a great school, and now I am ready to be here and continue the work at another wonderful school. I've heard great things about Woodview. Getting to meet some of the staff, a parent, and all of the administration here has been incredible. All of the wonderful things that are in place, I look forward to being a part of and continuing my journey in education here.
So Dana, just take a minute and introduce yourself to you, and we look forward to, our last day with staff is June 10th, last day with students, is June 10th, and that's usually our day where we wrap up our current year, and June 11th is the day that we start looking ahead. We'll look at our data from this year, we'll start planning for 26, 27. Dana will be able to join us on June 11th at Woodview, be able to give a brief bio about herself to staff, so we're talking about her transition plan and opportunities over the summer for staff and parents to be able to come in and meet her, and as we progress forward throughout the year. She'll start officially on July 1st, so she's sort of wearing both hats right now, but she'll be able to see staff on that 11th as we start looking ahead to the future and so forth. So I wanted to have the board an opportunity to get to know her, and we look forward to working with her in the future.
Great.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So with that, we'd ask for our 3 hires to be approved, as well as our resignation.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Jeff on the new hires or resignation? Okay. Seeing none, I would look for a motion for the 3 new hires of Dana Croat, Principal, Woodview Elementary School, Isabel Schorner, ELA teacher, John Lowe Middle School, and Erica Zemer, 5th grade teacher, John Lowe Middle School.
So moved.
Second.
First, second, any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. So, welcome, and thank you for being here tonight. We'll also take the resignation of Jacqueline Miller, fifth grade teacher, John Law Middle School. Do we have a motion to accept the resignation?
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes, and we thank Jacqueline for her time in our district.
So we will send out a press release tomorrow morning across the district to parents as well as staff welcoming Dana to our district, but we look forward to having her here. Allison Kirchhoff was on the interview team and is here tonight, so I appreciate her taking time, but really great interview team, work that they did, appreciate that. The process that we had 2 different interviews, so we had a introductory piece where we invited 6 people in, 4 that were current principals, 2 that were associate principals, narrowed it down to 3 people, brought 2 that were principals, 1 that was associate principal, and Dr. Croat came into the top of that interview process. First interview was with our leadership team, second with teachers, a parent, and staff at Woodview, and then took a tour as well. So that was the process that we followed in order to select her as our top candidate, and we appreciate the work that Jill's done over the past 5 years and wish her the best. And we look forward to Dana coming in and building on that legacy that's already there.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. D, Annual Health and Nursing Service Report.
Hello, good evening. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm Stacia McCulley, the district nurse, and I've been here now 10 years officially, which was kind of a fun milestone marker to hit. But I wanted to give you a brief overview tonight of my role in the district, some of the services that we provide, highlight a couple of those, and allow you to ask me any questions that you might have. Try to be quick, but my role in the district is, I think, unique. There's not a lot of nursing roles where we get to be alone as a nurse and not have a team of us under a big umbrella of physicians or other healthcare providers. So it's a unique role, and I do take that autonomy with great care and respect. And so I just want you to know that I'm not a rogue, lone medical provider out here making up decisions on a whim. I do take those theoretical frameworks that we were ingrained for my license for education into perspective for every decision that we face each day. So that nursing process or the scientific method that you might be familiar with kind of drives me, as well as our scope of practice for my profession, my license, the state laws. We want to make sure we're staying in my lane to provide care that our district students need and not overstepping. So I do take all of that into consideration. I'm a big proponent of evidence-based practice, so that will come through probably if you talk to my staff. We're not doing things just because it's been done forever or because it's what a parent asked for or a teacher or anyone really. We need evidence to drive what we're doing so that we can be accountable and safe. And so I appreciate also our district leadership here, from Mr. Nelson, all of you guys, the policies that you have in place for us, and our team of other directors who I get to work with every day, every week. I've probably encountered every staff member in the district at some point to collaborate. So it starts with our leadership. I thank you for hiring great leadership for us. We have Dr. Ernest is our local pediatrician who volunteers his time as our medical advisor, so we certainly appreciate that role he plays for us. And of course, Ms. Mack and her assistant Yvonne for that student services leadership that she does drive us to collaborate, which I appreciate. There's been a few student services directors over the years, and I do appreciate that component that she brings for our student services team. It's highly valuable. We love it. So I can't do what I do without these colleagues here in front of you. So my frontline support team, every day you see these people as our administrative assistants, answering the door, phones, greeting you professionally. But what you may not know is they are highly, highly trained people. We collaborate each year on some pretty intense things. They are at the ready to work our front office health rooms or emergency situations that might occur in our buildings. And I just cannot measure the value that they bring to my role and my practice. They're my eyes, my ears in the building, and they know it after a decade of working with them, they know what I'm going to ask. They know what information to give me. We have a really seamless interaction. So coupled with their front office team, principals, the counselors, the school psychs, every day, the students who cross those thresholds into the front office, we see a lot of students. And if you've ever been in the front office, you know it's busy, steady, chaotic sometimes even. And students who cross over don't walk in with a label saying, I need to see the counselor because I'm having a behavior problem, right? So there's a lot of deciphering, assessment, teamwork, collaboration to get students what they need. And we try to track our data as best as possible. I think almost 4,000 office visits for health reasons alone, just up to the end of April. And I think that's an underreported number, just due to logistics of a front office and the type of concerns that cross over and overlap. But I do think that's a decent number to let you know that things are happening. We are a busy front office. We cover a lot of things. You may not realize we do mental health care. There's just a lot of things that come across our overlap with nursing services. So I'm proud of the amount of work we can do, and it doesn't stop just at my front office, frontline triage team. In order to get what I need done for our students, safety and health needs, we have a great in-network, in-house group of people. I can't thank our teachers and our special ed support staff enough. Thank you for hiring people with a yes attitude, because I have benefited from that greatly. And it speaks to the collaborative spirit that I think is what drives success for our district, maybe compared to others, is that when a teacher or a para, if I walk up to them and I say, we need to work together, are you a yes for learning something complex like a G-tube or catheter care? Those are uncomfortable things to many educators, but I get yes, I'm willing to try this and help you. And it's just a beautiful symbiotic relationship we have. So I appreciate all of those in-house professionals, from food service to IT, custodians, OT, PT, speech. It takes a village inside our school district to make student services effective and healthcare safe. So I also get the benefit of working with people out in our community, which is fun. I love that part of the role too. Shout out to our Lions Club, who help us with vision screening every year and volunteer their time in the heat of the summer. They're always there and ready. Our fire, police, EMS, our mental health support networks, local providers, the list goes on is long, nonprofits, people who donate food, clothing, even housing issues. So we cover a lot of ground in health services. So I appreciate our community, and we can have all the plans in place that we want. I feel like maybe a slide was skipped, but whatever. We can have all of the plans in place we want, from doctor's orders to policies and protocols and whatever, but to have those implemented in a school for a student to have, let's say, a diagnosis and a plan, and to make him successful in math class from A to Z, getting that to happen takes a lot of implementation and a lot of collaboration. And so it's important to me that we do have great networks available to us. One thing I'd like to highlight that is a success for our program is our medication administration delivery service. We have a lot of meds in our schools. And if you look at those numbers, 205 medications for almost 140 students at John Long alone. And if you look at those numbers across the district, it's about 20% of our students have a medication. And that can range from an over-the-counter pain management to an inhaler for asthma, or an emergency rescue med, or a controlled substance, anything in between. And when we look at all of the things that this district measures for student performance and success, all the data and the decision matrices that you guys look at, I think that what our department does is imperative to make those numbers successful. And if there's anything I'm proud of, it's really and truly this medication program, because without the medications, these students cannot perform to the expectations and the hopes that we have for them. So thank you for letting me have attentive, detail-oriented staff that make this happen for our district, because we do have a lot of medications. And I don't know if you know much about controlled substances, but these are high numbers for the amount of meds that we do house that are controlled substances. And I don't want that to be a scary word. It's typically like mood regulation, executive functioning enhancer, medications similar to what ADHD might need. But again, every student, every day, and these are important medications that require counting regularly. There's legal parameters around housing these medications on our premises. So to have a safe and effective distribution program that's timely, accountable, meets our parents' expectations for what they expect to have for their students in place. I just think it's a great success program that we have. So a lot of training, a lot of front loading goes in to make that whole process achievable. And you know, those 11 staff members, administrative assistants, again, go through heavy duty training with me, but so do the rest of our staff. Every year we get the privilege of training for rescue medication management for all of our staff at this opening of school. And you know, we are responsible for kids on field trips and outside of our building just as much as we are in-house. And there's a lot of field trips and a lot of kids with needs, as we discussed. So it's really important that we have that time with our staff and those yes attitudes from them, that we can make that possible and safe every day, which is, I think, what you want to happen. There's a lot of other things I do behind the scenes. I don't have to go and list all of that, but IEP teams, 504 teams, we're really growing the chronic absenteeism support groups. Just a lot of good progress has happened in my role, in my department, with the help of our leadership. If you need to know anything more about some of the other things I do, just message me anytime, but lots of great work, lots of good initiatives that I'm proud of. So if you have any questions, let me know at this time.
Thank you for the presentation. Any
Yep.
comments or questions? One of the things that I thought that was great is a couple months ago, we had some of the high school kids here for their presentation, and they talked about some of the mental health things that they've incorporated. So the staff saying yes to give the kids opportunities to get involved as well. So it's great that that's at the top all the way down, you know, doing it from the staff to all the way to the students. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
thank you. Stacia. All right. E, recommendations for board action from the May 11th Finance Committee meeting. Mr. Adams.
Yes, we have 4 items that have come forward from Finance Committee for approval tonight. So I'll start off with the first one tonight, our property and casualty insurance renewal. So at that committee, we did review and discuss the different lines of coverage and the renewal, the 3% to property, 4% for liability. We did spend some time focusing on the workers' comp renewal, which is 27%, primarily because a bad claim year from the 2024-25 school year is now coming online. That will be with us for 3 years. So when we look at that over the next 3 years, having some good years come on following this, and currently 25-26 has been a good year. That would come on, and a good year in 22-23 would fall off. We'd need another good year after that to hold steady before then eventually seeing 24-25 drop off and potentially seeing some relief in our workers' comp premium. So with that, we do have a recommendation that's been brought forward from Finance, and we can take any questions before taking that up.
Any comments or questions that we were at the Finance Committee meeting? Discussion? Okay, seeing none, we do have a recommendation to approve the 26-27 workers' comp property and casualty insurance coverage brought forward by R&R Insurance. So moved.
Second?
First and second. Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes.
Next up is the staff handbook, also discussed and reviewed at the Finance Committee. So we have some changes, as we do every year. We bring that to Finance and the Board for use the following school year. So we have some changes in terms of, related in large part due to the fact that we're self-insured now, changing the coverage term date to the last date worked versus the end of the month, and then some cleanup of some language of cash in lieu, just clearing up when those payments are made, when those changes can be made, and clearing up or making it very clear that there is no spousal cash in lieu if you're married to someone else in the district and they're getting insurance. We also did add in the change that was made by the board last December with OPEB, just noting that moving forward, new employees would not be eligible for the OPEB. It would only be employees that chose to keep the OPEB benefit in lieu of receiving a salary increase. Then looking at the stipends, we did round stipends up to the nearest dollar to clean up a little bit of the administration piece there. And we did have some new stipends added at John Law Middle School. I'll point out that the presentation and the memo from Finance did not include Leo Club. That was in the marked up handbook. So I just did want to point that out, that is now part of the presentation. But those 4 positions being added to John Law Middle School, removed from the handbook at the high school, the POPS Performance Assistant. And then we have the adjusted stipends for John Long Middle School volleyball, moving from a head coach and assistant coach to a basically an A-team head coach and a B-team head coach, both 7th and 8th grade. And then for the cross-country team with 5th grade, now participating in cross-country at the middle school. Instead of having 2 head coaches, we just have 1 head coach and now 2 assistant coaches to deal with the additional students. And then we added a 3rd advisor to the Blackhawk crew at the high school to help freshmen orientate themselves up at the high school at the beginning of the year. So all told, this comes up from Finance, and so any questions, we can take that now before considering that for approval.
Comments or questions? Okay, I will look for a motion to approve the recommended changes to the handbook as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes, so thank you for that.
Next up, we have the Food Service Management Company contract renewal with Chartwells. We have a 5-year stint with Chartwells quite some time ago. We're in our 2nd contract, and now our 2nd renewal of that 2nd contract this year. We've had a very good relationship with Chartwells. They've been a great partner and able to say yes when we need them to pivot, to do something new. And they do have a 3.5% increase in the food prices that they charge us. 3% is typically the cap. However, this year, DPI said you could go up to 4%, I believe, because of the food cost away from home in the Midwest being that amount. So we split the difference and are renewing at 3.5%. You'll notice on this slide with correctly calculated amounts, 14-cent increase for lunch prices, I shouldn't say prices, for what we're being charged from Chartwell, and 7 cents on breakfast. So again, this is something we'd be looking to have renewed so that we have them in place for 2026-27.
Comments, questions? Same as presented at Finance. I would look for a motion to approve the contract with Chartwells to serve as our FSMC for 26-27.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that passes. Meal prices.
And finally, coming out of finances would be the school meal prices approval for 2026-27, reviewed and discussed in finance. Lunch prices going up 20 cents, breakfast prices going up 10 cents. Again, this has to not just cover the cost of the increased meal service charges from Chartwell's. It also has to cover the inflationary increases we see to electricity charges, to maintaining and servicing equipment, as well as having the financial software to manage the food service program. So again, this is brought forward from Finance for approval. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Comments or questions? Okay, same came from the Finance Committee as the recommendation, so we will look for a motion to approve the increased meal prices as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes as well. All right, then we've got a couple of informational-only items from the Finance Committee meeting.
Want to take a break and I'll?
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, the informational items that were covered at the committee meeting were the capital maintenance plan update. The committee reviewed the capital maintenance plan, which is our long-term strategic tool used to plan for facility needs and projected costs over the next 20 years. Projects totaling an anticipated $950,146 will be completed or partially completed during the 25-26 fiscal year. These projects include infrastructure, security, and remodeling occurring at buildings across the district. Newly identified projects include a new sound system for the GHS Acuity Gymnasium, early childhood flooring replacement at Woodview, and an updated electronic sign on Highway 60. Annual contributions to Fund 46 are projected to fully fund the project costs identified in the plan over the next 10 years. Approval of the 26-27 capital maintenance plan will be on the board agenda in August. We also discussed the solar roof program. Options were presented that were conceptual in nature and involve energy savings that more than offset the cost of installing and maintaining the panels. Administration will be gathering more information to evaluate the feasibility of the project to bring back to the Finance Committee. And lastly, we discussed the 26-27 preliminary budget. Administration has developed a balanced budget for 26-27 fiscal year with both revenues and expenditures projected at roughly $30.9 million, representing a 4.1% increase over the previous year. Information regarding revenues and expenditures were presented. The Finance Committee discussed various aspects of the budget, including the potential impact of late-breaking information regarding a budget deal between the governor and the legislature. This item will come back to the June board meeting to be presented and discussed. The board will approve a preliminary budget for use beginning July 1st.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on the informational-only items from the Finance Committee? I have just one. So on the solar roof program, now there's a timeline with that, correct? That's
Yes.
the end of 2027?
Correct, so December 31st, 2027.
Is that for us to agree to it? Is that for it to be installed?
For
What-
completion.
For completion. Okay, so there is a little bit of time sensitivity to that one. Okay. Okay. Anything else? All informational. So, thank you very much. After finance, we rolled right into policy.
Yes, Policy Committee met last Monday, May 11th. We went through a number of policy updates and some new policies. First set of policies were related to the Neola 35.1 update. There were some revised policies, a new policy, and some replacement policies. I believe we need to take these in sections because they're different approvals. So the first group will be a first reading and approval as they are revised policies. The list of policies was provided. There were 13 policies, part of that group that were revisions to existing policies. And the standard practice is a first read and approval at the full board level. So Policy Committee recommends a first read and approval of the revised policies for update 35.1.
Okay. Any comments or questions? thorough discussion of policy. So with that, we would look for a motion for a first reading approval of the 13 revised policies for 35.1.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And those are approved.
Part of 35.1, we also had a new policy, and this is really a policy that's in practice today, so we felt a first read and approval was appropriate, given that it's really not a change, it's really just a clarification of practice that we are currently doing. So we had a first read and approval of policy 5135, student identification numbers and cards. So that policy is before the board for a first read and approval.
Okay, any comments or questions on policy 5135? Seeing none, I would look for a motion for policy 5135, student identification numbers and cards.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes.
The last group of policies are some replacement policies, a part of 35.1, policy 5514, use of personal transportation devices, policy 7540-02, digital content and accessibility, policy 7540-08, artificial intelligence. We did have to go back to Neola on one of these to get some clarification or an update, I believe, on 5514, but after that, we were good. So given these are replacement policies, this would be a first read of these three policies.
Any questions? First read, we will not look for approval tonight. We will look for approval in June. So, good. Okay. Neil's special updates.
So yeah, second group of policies, Neola special updates, school support organizations. We had some revised policies, 6 of them, relating to student fundraising, crowdfunding, non-district supported student activity accounts, grants, gifts, requests, relations with non-school affiliated groups, and advertising and commercial activities. So those were the 6 policies. We are looking for we recommend a first read and approval of those revised policies.
Okay. Any comments or questions on those 6 policies? All right, seeing none, we look for a motion to approve. So
Second?
any additional discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes as well.
We have a new policy, part of the special update, policy 6608, accountability and oversight of fundraisers and crowdfunding disbursements. This is a new policy, so it's a first read for the board.
Any comments or questions on the first read? That is, as well, will come back in June for a final read approval. Okay.
Excellent. Moving on, we have a first read and approval of a replacement policy, policy 9215, school support organizations. So it is a replacement of an existing, so we are looking for a first read and approval of the replacement policy.
Comments or questions on policy 9215? First read and approval, look for a motion to approve 9215 as a replacement.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that passes as well.
Last policy is the deletion of policy 9215 related to the replacement policy, that is district support organizations. We need an approval for this one too, right, of the deletion of this policy, 9211.
Okay. Any comments or questions on 9211? First read and approval, so we look for a motion for policy 9211.
So moved.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes. So, thank you to the policy committee.
We got one
Oh,
more.
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
sorry.
oh.
Sorry. It was a long meeting. Yes.
You were there, too.
I
You lost track, did you?
was. I did. Good.
So we have one more group of policies related to Act 57. This will be a first reading approval of revised policies. There were 3 that were essentially the same, just applying to different groups of staff members. So that was policy 1213, student supervision and welfare, and then 3213 and 4213. And lastly, we had a revised policy of child abuse and neglect, 8462. Those are presented for first read and approval tonight.
So we have one more. 4 of the 4 Act 57. So any comments or questions on those 4 policies? Seeing none, I look for a motion to approve 4 policies for Act 57.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is the last one that passes. So thank you very much for the discussion and the thoroughness on the policies. I believe you'll have one coming up.
We've got, we'll have another group of policies coming in June.
Yes, Neil has a special update, and we're meeting with them later this month, and then we'll bring it to the full board for discussion there. That goes with Act
89.
89, I was going to say 87, but I knew it was wrong, Act 89, that we'll be bringing to the full board, that we need to have in place by September 1st. So we won't have another policy committee, but we'll bring it. The policy committee agreed to, no, we didn't.
No,
said
we
were
didn't.
going to-
You were there, too.
That's right. We were going to have a special policy committee meeting. We were going to have a special meeting.
In June, yeah.
In June, and then bring it to the board for approval that we'll need in place as we get ready to do our planning for PD for the start of the year in August. I was there, Mr. Kaler.
The whole time. All right. H, educational assistance and support staff compensation.
Yes, administration is bringing forward a recommendation for wage increases for educational assistants, which include paraprofessionals and a variety of regular ed aides, as well as for our support staff, which includes clerical, custodial, and tech staff. We're recommending a 3.3% increase for wages that matches the wages that have been awarded to and approved with teachers. That would, including payroll taxes, cost about $90,000. This is included in the current budget, and so we bring it forward to you for approval for next year.
Comments and questions on the recommendation? Okay. We'll look for a motion to approve the 3.3% increase to educational assistance and support staff compensation.
Second.
First and second, any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes as well. Gift reports.
Yes, we have a number of gift reports that we'd ask for board approval for. First being from the Cedarburg Grafton Rotary. Contact person is me. It's a restricted gift for Grafton High School welding classes in the amount of $2,000. Katie and Jason Becken, Brett Dimmer is the contact person for the monetary donation of $2,000 for JLMS Band. Excuse me. Kevin and Lisa Knaus donating $300 to the football team for their mulch fundraiser, so a restricted gift for GHS football. Christopher and Lisa Lundberg, a donation, a restricted gift for GHS boys soccer in the amount of $1,000. GE Healthcare through First Wisconsin of Matt Parkarski as the contact person towards our robotics team, a grant of $1,000. And then 2 windscreen donation reports, one for the baseball windscreen, the Friends of Grafton Baseball Heinz family of $2,500, Friends of Grafton Baseball Bechonic family of $2,500, Grafton Athletic Booster Club of $1,000, KJS Construction of $1,000, and Remax United Tracy Pritchford in the amount of $1,000. And the softball windscreen donations from Grafton Stingers for $1,000, Grafton Orthodontics of $1,000, Grafton Athletic Booster Club $1,000, Unlimited Auto Care $1,000, Stifle Financial Stiefel Financial of $1,000, and Mueller Heating and Cooling in the amount of $250.
Okay, any comments or questions on the gift report? Seeing none, I look for a motion to approve the gift report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes, and we thank everyone for their generosity, and we will get them a letter of appreciation. Next board meeting, we're a week early because of Memorial Day, so our next meeting then will be Monday, June 22nd, and we'll be back here at Grafton High School. We'll look to go into close. The Board of Education will consider a motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Section 1, subsection C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for purposes of considering administrative compensation. Do we have a motion to go into closed?
So moved.
Second.
Take a voice vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, we are in closed.